Well, hello, my darlings. I am so pleased to see you. This is Wallis. We're on Morning Cuppa with Wallis. Now, I've got a little confession. I was a bit dry and I've drank my cup of tea while I've been getting ready for this video. And but anyway, here's the cup I've been drinking out of. It's got little budgerigars on it, those beautiful little green parrots here in Australia, aren't they beautiful? And that's on theirs, but I've already drank my cuppa. But it is to have with you and your cuppa. Um, so I'm going to pull my chair in. The little earth angels are here, the bigger ones down here, the little ones here, and just looked up at me as if to say, what are you doing? You're not moving, are you? I just got settled. And I'm going to put the cards away because I'm not using these cards today. I am going to pull a card for us, but it's going to be a different card that I'm going to pull. And pardon me, this week's a very, very interesting week. I did a reading for a gorgeous, gorgeous lady, beautiful Vicky, in Texas this morning. And gorgeous, gorgeous soul, beautiful soul. Makes me realise how we are all so connected, how we are all one, and one for all for one, isn't it? You know, really, I mean, we are so, so connected. And I wanted to call today. She said something on the video which sort of, tweaked my interest, and I thought, that's it. That's what today's video is about. So I've called it Focus and Manifesting. And why have I called it that? Because I think it's important about manifesting. I'm going to be starting a blog. I'll let you know when I've done that, when I've posted the first one. Oh, look, Frida's here on the website. Well, not our website. I'll let you know when that's up. Pardon me. And I'm going to be adding. I was looking for a little book and I couldn't find it, but I will find it. But I'm going to be adding, books and various. I'm going to talk about different books, talk about different things. This week on the bigger video, I've got a book that I'm going to be presenting and talking about. But I do want to mention, there's a documentary coming out now. Those of you on here probably know about it if you're in America. For the rest of us in the rest of the world, I think about May we'll be seeing it come worldwide on the internet. But they're doing a big tour in America with it, and it's Suzanne Geisman and the medium. And anyway, it's a long story, beautiful story about a young man, and it's called yes, well, that eludes me right this very, very minute, and that video, but I'll come back to that because the documentary is Wolf. That's the name of it. It's coming out in very, very soon in America. It's coming out, so it's going to be available, and it's all about a young man who knew about his own passing, knew when he was going to pass, knew how he was going to pass away. A very high evolved soul that came and went, and his name was Wolf. And that'll be a marvellous documentary. It's already been put up for a film, award thing, and fabulous. I can't wait to see it. But it's called Wolf, and Susan Geisman, I think, has it on her site, or Suzanne Geisman, because it's, what is it? Suzanne. So it's on her website, and they've got a little, a little bit of an intro to it. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I can't wait to see it when it comes out. So that's a little bit about that. But I wanted to talk about this whole thing about manifesting and focus and manifesting, and how it's connected. And you read lots of things, and there's lots of teachers about manifesting and how to manifest, and etc., etc. For me, I've always found that the way that I manifest, for me, and successfully manifest, is when I become single-minded and focused on something, and put my feelings and energies into that to sort of drive it. It's a bit like, if you will, it's the the energy and the engine for it. And I want to just give you a little story. Many, many years ago, I was involved in a business, and I went to, that particular business was opening in Malaysia, and a fellow that I had in my business at the time had come from Malaysia, and he was thinking about expanding his part of the business there in Malaysia. And so he was going to Malaysia, and I decided to go, and my sister went with me, and away we went to Malaysia. And in those days, in that time, that was in the late 80s, and in that time, unbeknownst to us, they were having a big thing on in Malaysia, where there was a lot of credit card fraud and a whole bunch of stuff going on like that. So they were very picky and pedantic about cards and payments, and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, we had a lovely time there. It was fabulous. The business grew. I had put my money into, in those days, I didn't have a lot of money, but I had some monies. The business was going quite nicely. And but anyway, the money that I'd taken with me from home, I'd put into things. So if I needed any more money, I was just simply, calling out to home, and money would be put in the bank. And it wasn't all the really fabulous things that we have now. And I'd, be able to get hold of the money. I used my card for it at the time. But anyway, with the whole bunch of other stuff that went on, which I won't go through, I finished up the night before. We were due to fly out home back to Australia. And the flight at that time to Australia, it was a British Airways flight, only came through on a Tuesday. So it came through to Kuala Lumpur on a Tuesday. And so, of course, we had booked to come home on the Tuesday, because we were booked on British Airways. Anyway, the night before, when we had to pay our, have enough money to pay our hotel bills and, sort everything out, my sister had just enough for her share of what we were doing. And but anyway, I found myself short of money. And I was in a real quandary, because I had called home, and I couldn't use another credit card, because the card was, they wouldn't accept it with all the fraud and stuff. So anyway, it was a comedy of errors. It was just things that just went wrong for that time. And I found myself somewhat stranded, so to speak, in Malaysia, with no money, or not enough money to pay for the hotel bill, and to facilitate my being able to leave the next morning and go to the airport for my flight. And my sister was all nervous about it. She didn't know whether to stay or go. And I would have had to wait then till the next Tuesday, which meant a whole lot more expenses and a whole lot more stuff. Anyway, in the evening, my sister said to me, well, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I have no idea, because I've run out of ideas. given the fellow a whole bunch of stuff, and he owed me some money, but he was off way in another part of Malaysia. And anyway, it was so many things went wrong. And so I said to my sister, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I guess, I don't know. I'll be staying, I suppose. I can't solve it. I've run out of ideas. Ever got there? Ever felt that way, darlings? Ever got to a point in your life where you felt, well, I'm run out of steam. I've run out of ideas. I've, I've tried on everything, and yeah, uh, no idea. No idea. And anyway, well, I said to her, well, I'm not going to sit here in the room and mull over this and get all depressed about it. I'm going to go downstairs and sit in the lounge. And I didn't have much money on me, and I was sort of watching every penny I had. But anyway, we decided to go down and sit in the lounge. We hadn't been sitting down there too long, and there was a man across from us, and he was a rather, nice man, and he was, smiling and chatting at a distance, and then said, do you mind if I come and join you? And anyway, he came over and to join us and have a chat. He was there from England, and on some thing that he was doing in Malaysia. And he said, could I bring my friend? Well, a fairly new friend. He hadn't met him very long. And he's an Australian. Could he come over and join us? Anyway, he was a nice fellow. He came over. His wife lived in Canberra. And this was at the time of the Gulf War. And he'd been over with his friend. He's a very, very wealthy man. He'd been over with his friend in Sweden or somewhere, and he bought a big oil rig, and he was having the big oil rig towed down and through the Gulf because he'd sold it to the head of Malaysia, the person who was owned Malaysia. So he was a bit nervous about the whole, but he was waiting on all that, taking place and happening, and, having the rig arrive, this big oil rig arrive in Malaysia. So we got to talking. He was talking about how he was really looking forward to going home to his wife and family, and looking forward to seeing them, and he was really missing them, and we were chatter. Anyway, as the night wore on, a couple of other things occurred. A few other people joined us, but anyway, I must have seemed a little bit out of it. And this man from Australia sort of sidled up next to me and said, "Are you okay?" Called me kid. "Are you okay, kid?" He said, "Is everything all right?" He said, "You seem a bit out of it." I said, "Oh no, I'm fine, I'm fine." And no, he said, "You're not. What's going on?" I said, "No, nothing. It's all good." No, he said, "It's not all good. Tell me what's going on." And he was very insistent about me sharing. So I shared with him what was going on, and what was happening and everything. And he said, "Oh, is that all?" "Oh," he said, "don't let that interfere with your night," he said, "and take all the joy out of it." And he put his hand in his pocket, took out his wallet, which was full of English money. I mean, mega amount of money. I couldn't imagine how much was there. And he said, "How much do you need?" He said, "I have a little bit more." And he pulled out all this money, put it in front of me, gave it to me, and said, "There you are. Put that in your kick," as Australians say. "Put that in your kick," meaning your pocket or your wallet, and or your purse, you'll be right. And I was. And I thanked him so very much. And I've never forgotten that that thing that occurred. I never forgot that that occurred for me. And when I do think about it, I actually become quite emotional. And I think of that time, and I think about how much I was just simply focused on that. I didn't know how, but something would happen, something would take place, something would work out. And it was almost the door knock, wasn't it? I mean, it was the last minute of everything, so to speak. And I not only had enough money to pay the hotel bill and do all that, but I took my sister and I in a nice limo to the airport for our flight. There's a little bit more to the story and all that sort of thing, but the essence of the story is that by focusing on what it was that I wanted, not was missing, not the anxiety over how was I going to solve it, because I had actually thought of everything I could possibly think of as a human, and I just handed it over to spirit and let it be there, and there you have it. You know, it all worked out and it all took place. So I think it's really, really important if you're sitting now, and I must be talking about this because it's meant to be. And this beautiful Vicky today said to me, when we were talking about something today, she said, that which is likened to itself is drawn. That which is likened to itself is drawn. So if you've got something that you're wanting to sort out, if you're wanting to have more money in your life, if you're wanting to have more things in your life, if you're wanting to do more things in your life, focus on what that is, not what you don't have, not all the things you need to make it happen, because that's not your business. Your business is to focus on it, and Spirit's business is to provide it. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense to you. And I think that I, said it today and had this little conversation because, it was totally meant to be. I best get off because I don't like to spend too much time on Wednesdays. I don't want to outstay my welcome, shall say, so to speak. So that must have all come because some of you needed it, and for me, I needed a reminder. So I'm going to draw a card for us, for you and I, for all of you and myself. I'm drawing this card. I really do things a bit differently than other readers, I guess. But then, I'm me, and I do things, my way, and things that appeal to me. And hopefully will appeal to you, darlings. So I'm shuffling these. There's something in here, something for one of you, all of us. There's something for us in here based on the conversation that we had today, or the little story I gave you today about focus and manifesting. Okay, let's draw the card, shall we? Okay, flexibility. A prehistoric bamboo forest in Southeast Asia and the tiger moving through it. Flexibility. So be flexible. Don't be, what's coming for me? Don't be set. Don't be set in your ways. Patience. Have patience. Don't be set in your ways. With what I'm saying today, you might go, oh, that's all right for her, or whatever, or that was back then. We all come up with all these things to justify it. Don't justify it at all. And this last card out is transcending. And that's a good, beautiful, beautiful card. It's about Atlantis and transcending. And it is about being able to transcend what we think we know, but we don't. Well, thank you for coming along. Thank you for listening. I love you all. I love you all so much. And you'll be seeing the bigger video at the weekend. But I'm building this one. Hopefully it'll build. I trust in the universe that what I'm doing is where I'm being led. And more is on the way. I love you. Have the best day. Have the best week. Enjoy. I go with you. As you know, I always say, when I leave here, you go with me and I go with you in your heart and you in mine. Have the best day. Enjoy, darlings. And I'll see you on the weekend on Wednesdays with Wallis, which is Wednesdays. Mwah. Love, love.